You know what they say. The best way to predict the future is to create it. So call a few people on the same vibe who will look to support you in this thing we call life. So then I thought, let's level up the cast on NFL Conversation. Introducing The CREW.
It's your man's Josh Norman.
Welcome to the show.
Morris Chestnut here. It's about that time.
This is Brian Urlacher. No introduction needed.
Yo, what up, baby? It's Deric Augustine.
You guys need me to suit up?
Good to see you, man. Your dog all right? Is your dog all right? Wait. We signed the Heisman Trophy winner. We drafted him, Devontae Smith. You know him?
Yeah, I know him.
Okay, you know him. Okay, cool. I was just checking. I
I told him, hey, you play, you're gonna get hurt. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Just get ready for it.
What up, it's your girl, Josina Anderson, and it is time to get started. Hey, what up? Welcome to episode 10 of The CREW. We've got a great show for you. But first of all, before we get to that, I want to let you know where you can find us. You can find us at thecrewshow.com. You can also go to youtube.com/undefined with Josina Anderson. You can also download the USA Today app on your televisions and watch us there. We also have a special guest joining us today, obviously, to talk about the NFL trade deadline, the Browns, and Odell Beckham Jr. and everything that went with that today. Browns beat writer Mary Kay Cabot joining us from Cleveland.com in the Plain Dealer. But for right now, we are going to go to the CREW call. All right, time to bring everybody. We also got another special guest joining us today, Fred Smoot, former NFL cornerback. You've seen him play for the Washington football team, Minnesota Vikings, and all of that. Fred, what's going on?
Hey, I'm good, man. I'm just happy to be a part of the CREW. And I must say this little dance that you do on the intro, I cannot stop dancing. I can't.
I'm saying, so you can't I can't get my Mary Jane. Why you gotta be like Josh Norman?
Don't hate, Fred. Don't hate.
I'm not hating. It look like she having a stroke halfway down.
It's called the Baker Mayfield.
You know what? He hated because he wasn't dancing. He didn't get his dance on.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's go straight to Deric Augustine, our resident Saints fan. How you feeling today? I know it was a rough day for you. You wanted a wide receiver. We're gonna get all to that for the NFL trade. You all right? You okay?
You know what? I've been crying all day, but I'm all right, man. You know what? My Saints didn't make no moves, but you know we're better than the Eagles right now, so I'm good.
Whoa!
Morris,
Shots fired. Shots
fired.
fired.
Hey,
I'm not worried about it. I think they're on our schedule this year, so I'm not even worried about it. We're gonna take care of
that's
business
gonna be a great game.
We're gonna take care of business on the field.
Popcorn ready.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah,
and we definitely can't leave out our resident Hall of Famer, Brian Urlacher. No introduction here. What's up, B?
Nothing, just still gloating off our backup quarterbacks coming in and winning for the game.
That's right.
Sunday,
That's right.
That's
right.
How about that kid?
Morris and DA went against you in the prediction.
I did.
DA changed his mind last minute because he got a buddy on the Vikings or something like that. He just remembered him after he made his pick. He just remembered him right after that.
Yeah, it was a big victory. So wait, so B, you mean that you guys had an injury? You guys had a major player on the injured list, and y'all still won the game? That can happen?
Hey,
are you sure that can happen?
Somehow these guys find a way to win games. You know, even with their best player, probably the best player in the NFL. Hold on, DA. Even with their best player hurt, they found a way to win the game. That's why it's a team, right? It's a team.
Can I put my input in? Input?
Go ahead, DA.
Okay, we won with a third-string quarterback against Tom Brady. So
who started the game?
Wow, that's quite good.
He was out the first quarter, right?
A Nobel Peace Prize. Then give him a Nobel Peace Prize. At the end of the day, let's be honest, Morris. The Eagles beat up on the Lions. You might have well played the school of the blind. We ain't giving out no trophies for that. So.
Look at man, I'm not even worried about because you on our schedule too, Fred. I'm not even worried about a team that don't even have a name. Y'all don't even have a mascot.
We ain't got a name. Y'all
like a ticker symbol. You like a ticker symbol on the stock exchange.
Wow, a ticker symbol. All right, y'all.
Symbol. We playing
Let's move it along. Let's move it along, Matt, to CREW headlines. Well, in case you all didn't know, the big news for today is that Desean Watson did not end up going anywhere. He is still a member of the Houston Texans. Taking a look at this tweet that I put out saying they are out. I'm told by a league source, this is obviously my tweet. I was also told that the Dolphins owner, Stephen Ross, wanted a chance to talk to Desean Watson. That was not granted in time, so no deal. Adam Schefter, first to report that it wasn't happening. Guys, what is your reaction to the fact that they are still keeping Desean Watson and he has not ended up anywhere else?
Still getting paid.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Honestly, I don't know what's going on here. I mean, I know that I can understand the Dolphins not wanting to make the trade for not knowing what his legal situation is, but I don't know what the Texans are doing. Maybe they felt that they would still have a higher market if this case was resolved by the time the offseason came. Maybe they felt that they could get more for him, but to have him on the roster, still paying him the money is, I don't know what they're doing right now.
Go ahead, Brian.
I mean, I don't know what they were offering or what they weren't offering from Miami, but I would think at this point, whatever you can get for him right now with the current situation, if someone's offering something and you get those numbers off your books because he's making a lot of money, I would think that's a good deal for you, unless this gets resolved. And I don't think he wants to be in Houston anymore. He said that publicly. So, I mean, doesn't want to be there. So, I mean, get him off your books and maybe get something for him.
Hey, B, let's be honest. You can tell by how the NFL has handled this, how the Texans has handled this. They know something we don't know. The guy ain't been suspended. The guy ain't got no criminal charges. And they still leveraging him like he's prime A beef. All right? Hey, he's Desean Watson. Top 5 quarterback. That's what he is. That's what we want. 2 first rounders, 3 first rounders. So that's what it's telling me. Like, this is the most abnormal criminal process I have ever seen before. Not suspended, not in court. Like I said, it's something.
Why don't they play him? Why don't they put him in the game then? Because he's their best chance to win. I don't understand.
Exactly.
Because he doesn't want to play, and he's saying that he doesn't want to play.
Even more reason to put his ass in there. Because if you don't want to play, you don't want to be there. I'm going to play you, let you get beat. Hey. I mean, then he has to do something detrimental to the team when you don't have to pay him or you can find him. Then,
I do have to
go that route.
Hey, so BU and Fred, I have a question for you guys. This is kind of interesting because obviously, an Eagle fan, I wish we can get Desean, but hypothetically, right? So he doesn't play this year. Hypothetically, he is traded to a team, and then these charges come down, and maybe there's a settlement or whatever, and maybe the NFL decides to suspend him for a season. So now he's missed 2 seasons, hypothetically. How do you guys think that he would be able? How long does being out of the NFL 2 years at the quarterback position? What type of impact do you think that would have on a player like this?
A player of his caliber, nothing. That dude's
not a damn thing.
His body's going to be fresh. It probably already is because he's a quarterback anyway. But his body's going to be even more fresh, healed up. I mean, I think it just adds a couple years on to his career. He's not getting hit for 2 years.
And you know what, Morris? It's a difference between a dog and a hungry dog. You put him out 2 years, now he's a hungry dog. Like, you don't want to make these Hall of Fame type players hungry because they already looking for a reason to one-up you. Now you're going to suspend me and then set me out of here, then suspend me for another year. When we see him again, he will look like a hybrid of Manning, Steve Young, Brandon Cunningham. He just going to have it there. He'll be laser focused, if you know what I mean.
And it won't be with the Texans.
but that's interesting though, because then if I am any team in the league that doesn't have a Brady or Herbert or one of these top quarterbacks, come the offseason, I got to give up whatever I can to get this guy in my building.
We need a quarterback. We ain't had a quarterback since the early 1900s. It's been a long time.
Some other headlines. Y'all dealing with some other headlines.
Well, we got old Donovan. We didn't get young Donovan. We got
listen, guys.
Every time we get a quarterback, we get somebody used shoes. We get somebody old shoes, and that's what they send us.
They all busted up.
Aaron Rodgers, though. We might pull Aaron Rodgers this offseason.
Well, first of all, I just wanted to say quickly that obviously the Texans didn't get the compensation that they were looking for from the Miami Dolphins, and they also felt comfortable that regardless of what was going on, that they could hold on to him. Nothing was going to happen in terms of the trajectory of their season. The new league year starts in the middle of March, and I'm sure there will be, per their hope and expectations, a list of suitors. You never know, injuries. No one, I mean, look at you, Deric. We weren't talking about Jameis Winston being hurt last week, and out of nowhere, you need a quarterback. So let's move on really quickly. to Henry Ruggs, the wide receiver from the Raiders, involved in a fiery crash this morning that was involved a DUI where someone tragically lost their life. He was in a car with a female passenger. Obviously, they were injured. Right now, he has been booked on that charge. I want to know what you guys think about just this tragic situation.
You got to do better than that, man. You're on a pedestal, man. You're not supposed to be drinking and driving, and honestly, you put yourself and others at risk, and look what happened. Come on, you got to be smarter than that. I understand it's Halloween, you want to have fun, but do the responsible thing. Go out with some friends. If you're drinking, have a designated driver, Uber. Man, you're an NFL player. Even if you weren't involved in a vehicle homicide. What if you pulled over and get a DWI? You're fined and you're probably suspended. So that's just an unfortunate event, man, and his life's going to change forever just because of that.
It's sad for him, sad for the person that lost their life. It's such an avoidable situation these days with all the other avenues you have to get home. And I don't like accusing guy or putting a guy guilty before it's actually proven. So I don't know what the situation is going to be or is right now, but I mean, hopefully it's not what they're saying it is, but it looks like it is. You know, I feel bad for Henry. He's a good football player. It's just a bad situation, man. You hate seeing stuff like this.
Yeah. Sad, but it's a taste of reality, because what people forget about this is, you put athletes on a pedestal, but y'all got to understand, when y'all putting us on a pedestal, we are kids. This guy's 21, 22, 23 years old, and they going to make mistakes, and this mistake cost somebody life. And the bad part about this is the reason he throw up the 3 to the sky every time he scores is he lost his best friend to a car crash in high school, and he dedicated his football career to him. And now for this to happen, for him to be in jail and sitting there for vehicular homicide, it's kind of like it hurt double bad, because I know I can only wonder what's going through his head right now, especially because he probably don't even know the person on the other side, died yet, because he in the hospital. So it's just a sad situation.
He's actually currently booked. Well, obviously, that's not a good situation. The Raiders did put out a statement. The NFL put out a statement. So this is a developing story. We'll see how it continues to flow. Let's move on to Melvin Ingram, who is a part of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I broke the news earlier today that he was going to the Chiefs, spent 9 years with the Chargers. This is a guy who between 2015, guys, and 2017 had almost 30 sacks. So when you're talking about going to the Chiefs, the team that has just 11, tied for second to last in the NFL. But when you saw that game against the Chiefs, they came up with 2 critical sacks in that last play to stop Daniel Jones, one by Chris Jones, one by Frank Clark. That was his first sack of the season. What do you guys think about Melvin Ingram trying to revive his production and go to the Kansas City Chiefs?
I like Melvin Ingram. He's awesome. I think he was great. He may be a little bit older now. May not be the same Melvin Ingram he was when he was in San Diego, but that dude can play. I mean, he's got a motor. He gets to the football. And it's a chance to get some more playing time, possibly later. Because they got nobody up front. They got Frank Clark, who got sacked last night, and you said the other guy's name. I'm sorry, I'm not good at remembering. Yeah,
Chris Jones. Yeah, but they playing Chris Jones at defensive end. They playing him in the wrong position. He's supposed to be a nose tackle.
And inside,
to that point, Fred, I think this move allows them to move him back on the inside, and so they can get some pressure on the outside. So I think scheme-wise, I think it's a good fit for Melvin, because you'll have Chris Jones in there clogging up the middle, and you have the other Calvin Shire. I think it's a great move.
Well, we'll see if the Chiefs will come back on this. Obviously, that was one of the bigger moves that happened at trade deadline. One thing that did not happen, OBJ still with the Browns. Let's see what LeBron James tweeted today. He said, OBJ will show again why he's special. What did you say, B? He said, WR1, hashtag, why you at free OBJ, B? Why you hating on LeBron?
I don't care what he says. I'm not going to say anything about it.
I've been saying, first of all, I'm a Lakers fan. He need to worry about the damn Lakers, because we ain't winning no games right now. He need to worry about the old folks home of LA and get me, because don't let OBJ. We all know OBJ ain't happy. Him and Baker ain't never been on the same level. And let's just be honest. Let's be honest. Cleveland as a city has never been a good match for OBJ. They don't. The glitter and the glance. No, he needs to be a Ram or a Charger, a Raider. He needs to be somewhere else. He can't do it in Cleveland. Nobody ever called Morris up and say, you know what? I'm going vacation into Cleveland. How about you meet me there? Nobody else said that.
We are going to get more into that. It's a
smooth.
crew huddle, but really quickly, this one is for DA. Our next headline, Philip Rivers, Sam Farmer reporting that he told him that he hasn't heard from the Saints yet, but
there you
he
go.
was listed.
DA.
Super Bowl.
I mean, you got so much to say about
Josina.
Taysom Hill. What about what?
Josina, this guy hasn't.
Crying.
I talked to you about this earlier. This man, he hasn't had a preseason. He hasn't had a training camp. You're just gonna pick him off the street and toss him in a very complicated.
It's Phillip Rivers.
How you gonna do that? Do you know how complicated Sean Payton's playbook is? I don't think he's gonna be able to.
17-year veteran. This guy has seen every play call in the world.
Okay, so why not Cam Newton?
Ooh.
You rather?
No,
I don't
good throwing offense. They need someone that can throw the football.
I don't think Cam is there for an accuracy standpoint right now.
Wow.
I don't think he's there.
Yeah.
Cam led the Panthers to a Super Bowl, man.
10 years
A
ago.
decade ago.
That's okay. When the last time Rivers was in a Super Bowl?
Hey, I know you were just in the playoffs last year, and Cam.
Okay, a Super Bowl. When was he in the Super Bowl?
Cam went to one Super Bowl. One damn Super Bowl. Are you serious?
All right.
I think you just like Cam Newton. It's okay to like a guy, but it's not going to help your team.
Yeah,
he don't fit what y'all want.
So Philip Rivers, who's been vacationing with his family, hasn't played football in over a year, is going to be the answer to the Saints' problem.
He played last year.
So what's your answer now?
You know what? Cam's in the same situation.
Cam just played for the Patriots.
Cam preseason got cut.
He did, but he's still been training. He had a training camp and a preseason. Philip Rivers hasn't had that.
Listen, he don't need it. The last time I saw a Sean Payton offense is the quarterback operates from inside the pocket. I don't see Breeze running RPOs and all that kind of dive. He has to have accuracy.
Yeah, you're getting pelted.
I'm gonna take my L right now, but I just don't think that he is the answer. I mean, look at who we have. Trevor Siemian. He was a starter in Denver for 2 years. Yeah, he's not on the same level as Rivers. I understand that.
You already have Cam on the team and the other cat, the Taysom Hill. He does the same thing Cam does.
He can throw better.
DA, hold your ground.
Y'all overpaid for that used job. Y'all overpaid for Taysom Hill. And now you can't sign a quarterback. You would have did better going and get Mitch Trubisky. All right, for all the trash that they give Mitch Trubisky.
That's true.
He can play. He has a winning record. He can throw the rock. He's going to be the new Ryan Tannehill. When he goes to his next team, he might shock some people. I'm serious.
Hey, Smoot, you're a smart guy, man. You know what you're talking about. You should be
I went to the higher learning school of Mississippi State in the SEC.
And let him tell you about that mustard candy colored hoop that he be riding around. That don't say nothing about his education
just had a
level.
stroke dancing on the intro. Are you serious?
Listen. I went to the University of North Carolina, repping with my dancing and my education. So what you got?
ACC rivalry.
ACC. What you talking about? Oh, you quiet?
Brian,
You quiet?
Brian,
Okay,
I'm not opposed to him. I just don't think he's our answer.
It's the answer.
Let me say this.
That's okay.
Let me say this.
But do you think
last
Cam
comment?
is
Go
the
ahead,
answer?
Morris.
Cam is the answer?
I listen. I like Cam as a quarterback, not for this offense. You know, maybe if Cam. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if Baltimore signed Cam as an insurance policy.
No, the Houston Texans should sign Cam.
Because I was trying to put it away. Everybody
still got to put butts in the seats. They got to put butts in the seats.
Okay.
And they got to get some people in the crowd. And Cam, he can hold you over till you get your franchise quarterback.
So you just gonna toss Tyrod Taylor to the river?
Hey, let me tell you something about Tyrod Taylor. This is the truth.
Yeah, I like him.
If I was a quarterback, I would try to get behind Tyrod. You know why? Because everybody behind Tyrod go to the Pro Bowl the next year. Lamar Jackson played behind Tyrod. Josh Allen played behind Tyrod.
Hold up. Baker Mayfield played behind
Tyrod. Justin Herbert played behind Tyrod.
So Morris don't never miss his shot never miss his chance to get a shot on Baker Mayfield.
Don't say that with Miss Mary Kay Cabot on the show.
Oh, and I was about to say that's a perfect segue, Matt. That's a perfect segue. And with that, we are gonna go to crew call and welcome in Mary Kay. Go ahead, Matt. That's right. We had that hype welcome from Mary Kay Cabot, our beat writer from Cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. What's up, Mary Kay?
How you doing, Josina?
Man, let me tell you, it seems like there's a lot being said right now in Cleveland. Odell Beckham Jr. still a member of that franchise, no less after his father put out a video that showed all the opportunities that he's been getting on the field where the ball has not been going to him. And even really quickly, Mary Kay, before you say anything, can we just roll a little bit of that footage, Matt? Yeah. So, Mary Kay, this is what Odell Beckham Jr.'s father had put out today. What is your opinion about that right now?
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. The thing that struck me all day was the fact that it stayed up all day long. I kept thinking, maybe OBJ would ask his dad to take it down. Maybe OBJ would comment on it in some way, but it just stayed up there all day long. It gathered steam and it drew the attention of LeBron James, who went to bat for OBJ. You had guys like, Eric Metcalf, Des Bryant, a lot of people coming out and standing up for OBJ, but at the same time, kind of speaking out against Baker Mayfield a little bit. So, I have to wonder now, can those two guys coexist after this? Can Baker Mayfield and OBJ play football together after this?
Well, Mary, and that's why we brought you on the show, too. One, obviously, you've been covering the team for a long time. Great reporter. A tremendous respect for you and the coverage that you do. But one of the things that you said, even after the loss against the Steelers, was that you felt like OBJ should potentially go and ask for a trade. So tell me, basically your mentality behind saying that.
Well, I think I would have to think that after the events of that game where he had one target in that game for 6 yards, but just a screen pass in the second quarter, and then he wasn't heard from again until the very end of the game on a ball that was basically overthrown on the final drive there, that was nullified. So it turned out to be just one target for him for 6 yards in a game in which the Browns scored 10 points. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense anymore. I mean, you have to get the ball in his hands in some other way if you're not going to get it from Baker Mayfield to OBJ. So I had a strong feeling, a strong vibe that OBJ would want out after that, that they would ask to be traded. I'm sure there was a discussion between OBJ's camp and the Browns to say, hey, try to look for something, see if there's something that you can do. But, when someone makes $15.75 million, you're not going to find many trade partners.
All right. Well, Mary, let's bring you in with the rest of our crew. We're going to bring in Morris Chestnut, Brian Urlacher, Fred Smoot, and Deric Augustine. Everyone say hello to Mary.
Mary Kay.
Hey, Mary, how are you?
Hello.
So, Morris, this is your opportunity
a little bit more
to ask some
enthusiasm.
questions.
No, we have a lot.
Yes, come on now. Get your
and-
energy up. Y'all had all that stuff to say about LeBron and all that other stuff. What now?
No,
Go ahead, Morris.
with all due respect, Mary, your question was, you're wondering after this tape coming out if these two can play together. I'm wondering, I don't think that they played together before this tape came out.
Yeah.
They were not gelling. They were not getting along. The chemistry wasn't there, which is really surprising to me because, the type of offense that the Browns run was a very run-heavy offense to where the teams really have to sell out to stop Chubb and Hunt. It seems like, I used to think to myself, why aren't they throwing the ball to Odell? Is he not getting open? But according to his father, he's getting open quite a bit. Yeah. What are your thoughts
and
about
others,
that?
Morris, and others, not just OBJ Senior.
His father released the tape. I'm saying according to the tape.
No, it was on YouTube. He reposted it.
Okay. So that.
Okay.
So Mary, so what are your thoughts about what was happening before this event came out, and why wasn't it working in your opinion?
It's very puzzling. It's so hard to understand. I mean, you've got OBJ is still a really, really good receiver. He does get open. I think sometimes he gets open in a way that doesn't always sit well with the way that Baker likes to play football. Baker likes a guy to be exactly where he wants him to be. This is a timing rhythm offense. But even so, I still think that Odell was open at times this season when Baker should have thrown the ball to him. And for whatever reason, he didn't. And I think somewhere along the line, Baker sort of lost a little bit of faith and trust in OBJ. when they stopped connecting somewhere along the line, which was really, last year, they really struggled last year too. It just got to the point where I just don't think that Baker feels super comfortable throwing to him. I mean, even in the first scripted plays, he threw the ball 7 times on the first drive against the Steelers, not one time to OBJ. I mean, you've got to get a guy like that involved early. You have to get him rolling. He's got to feel good about himself. He needs that ball in his hands, and then he gets better as the game goes along.
Is he not
Mary Kay, that is the problem. That's the whole problem here, Mary Kay. Let's be honest. Young quarterbacks don't do well with diva receivers. They don't. Dak Prescott, as for as good as he wasn't throwing the ball to Dez. Because anytime you have somebody that is playing wide receiver that's just as popular as the quarterback, come on. The quarterback is usually the most popular guy in town. And you got somebody that status him and rivals him. Guess who dictates his production? The quarterback dictates his production. So either he going to feel the pressure to force it to him, or he's going to find other people. So I think they just been using him to get other people open, and I think it's making OBJ mad, and I hate to say this, but Cleveland is just too small for a big rat like that. He needs to be in New York. When you see a big rat in New York, you just keep on walking. You don't even
rat. Why you got to be a rat?
Because New York got rats. We know it.
I always felt that the market of Cleveland just wasn't large enough to sustain OBJ. But hey, I mean, it did okay for LeBron, right? All of those years.
But then he divorced you. He divorced you in the end.
Oh, that's
he's from Cleveland.
That is
right.
But you know what? I want to say this because I think this is important. OBJ was doing a phenomenal job this year of putting his head down, going to work, having a great attitude, not complaining about anything whatsoever. And he was determined to make this work. He was really going to try. And even the coaches have raved about the fact that he wasn't complaining and he was going to somehow, some way, he just wanted to go to the playoffs and experience that playoff feel again. And it's not going to work out.
He's a professional. There's no doubt about that. I don't understand why he's not the first option on some of these pass calls. It's the head coach, whoever's calling the plays, make him your first option. If you want to get him the football, you can get him the football. I mean, and it's obviously up to Baker to throw it to him in the end, but there are some routes where one guy is the main guy. So I'm not sure why they aren't making OBJ that guy, because Landry still gets a bunch of catches. He still gets the ball in his hands quite a bit.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yes.
That's because he's inside, Urlacher. That's because he plays the slot. And the one thing about Baker is he got a good cannon on him, but he outside of the numbers, he don't like to operate out of there unless he's on that hash. So if you're a cornerback and you studying Baker, he likes to throw inside cutting routes. And the one thing about OBJ, he makes his money outside the numbers.
But Odell can do both. He can go inside.
No, he can do both.
He can. Anybody. Put him in the slot and give him the football.
Yeah.
Another problem this season has been the fact that, Baker Mayfield is playing with that harness on, and I just don't think he's been the same since he hurt that shoulder in week 2. And they were trying to go downfield to Odell early on, and it just was not working at all. I don't think that Baker has his accuracy right now. When he gets inaccurate, he starts to sail the ball, and he was starting to do that. And these two were just off. And again, you can watch that video over and over again, and you can just see that that they just don't have that rhythm, that timing, that connection. And it's really unfortunate because Odell really wanted to leave Eli and play with a quarterback that could get him the ball deep and do all these great things. And it's been a rough year. I mean, I'm a Hall of Fame selector, okay? And I should someday be sitting in the room debating whether or not to put Odell Beckham Jr. in the Hall of Fame.
Very true.
True.
Yeah.
That's the caliber of football player that he is. And I just have to wonder. I mean, the statistics right now don't bear that out.
Mary Kay, can I ask you hold on, let me just real quick. Mary.
Go ahead.
So after this, and DA, and then you should come after this. But with this video that's come out, if the relationship is already where it is right now, and now you have this collection of highlights showing all these times where OBJ has been open, what do you think is going to be like now with those two?
You know what? The only possible way anybody could patch this thing up between the two of these guys is if like Kevin Stefanski sits them down in a room and they try to work through it. And I would think there would have to be some, apologies and some, really pouring out of their hearts to figure out how they can make this work and overcome what happened. Because like I said before, I think if OBJ had jumped into the comments and said, hey, this is my dad's thing, not mine, I have nothing to do with this, maybe that changes it, but there was nothing like that. So I think the team, the coaching staff, the front office would have to get these two guys together and see if they can make it work, if they should make it work. And they're going to take the side of Baker Mayfield because he is their quarterback of the future. And OBJ will probably be gone either after this season or during it.
Wow.
Go ahead, DA.
That was kind of my question. I was going to cut straight to the point. What's going to happen with OBJ? I'm an OBJ fan. He's from New Orleans. He actually went to the same high school the Mannings went to. And I wanted him to come to the Saints, honestly. But honestly,
yes, you did.
Obviously, we couldn't make a deal. But where do you see him going from here? I mean, that was going to be my question.
It's a good question. Andrew Berry, he's a second-year GM, has to decide, do you let a player sort of dictate his way out of town, or do you put your foot down and say, no, we're going to run this team the way that we want to run this team?
But is that the best decision, Mary? I mean, you put your foot down, but is that the best? Go ahead, Fred. Is that the best decision around?
It's not.
It's not. And let me say this with all due respect, Mary. You said that, with the sling on his arm, he hasn't gotten back to being the accurate quarterback that he was. I never noticed him to be an accurate quarterback outside the play action. And my question, and listen, and let me say this. I know it's easy. From my couch, I see dudes open all the time, right? On the couch. I know when you're on the field, you got freaks like Brian running after you, running like a 0-2, weighing 280 pounds, and Fred out there picking some passes. So I know it's easier on the couch. My question to you, Mary, is why do you guys feel that Baker is the franchise quarterback? Has he proven that he can put a team on his back and take you guys where you need to go? Because when I look at these young quarterbacks, I look at Herbert. Herbert's playing extremely well. I look at Mac Jones. Mac Jones is battling Dak Prescott. He's battling with Tom Brady on Monday night. And yes, it's the Patriots, but I haven't seen Baker thrive in any of those moments when he's had an opportunity. When I look last year when they played Baltimore, Lamar Jackson went to the locker room for half the game. Cleveland took the lead, and Lamar Jackson came back and won the game. Baker had the same opportunity last year against the Chiefs. I have not seen him put the team on his back and drive him to victory. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, you're right about that. I wrote a column about that right after the Chiefs game when he was not able to go down there and win that game, when he had the 2-minute drive at the end of that game. And you're right about that. He has not done that enough. He has to. That is the hallmark of a great quarterback. You've got to go head to head with another great quarterback and be the one that kicks tail on that last 2-minute drive and you win the football game. We've seen it happen a lot this season, like you said, with Lamar, with Josh Allen, with all these other players. And Baker has not demonstrated yet that he can do that, at least on a consistent basis. I mean, we've seen it occasionally, nowhere near enough. And he better darn well prove in these last 9 games and the playoffs, if they make them, that he can be that guy. Because right now, you're right. He has not.
I'm not going to let y'all do Baker like that, not the touchdown. I'm going to tell y'all like this. Come on, the city of Cleveland ain't won since the 1900s. And y'all going to hate when y'all finally get a quarterback. These numbers say everything. In no given year, out of 8 billion people on earth, have we had 32 good quarterbacks in the league. Right. Hey, 8 billion people on earth.
Agree.
I will take a Baker Mayfield over Heineke any day. Sometimes you got to take the lesser evil. No, he's not Josh Allen. No, he's not Lamar Jackson, but he is Baker Mayfield. You know what? You don't deserve credit unless you have a prettier girl waiting on you. You don't just leave her just to leave her.
Well, this is my next. Hold on. I agree with you to a certain extent now because we have a football team this year has pulled out all the stops to get the team to the next level. They signed a lot of free agents. They signed Clowney. They signed a couple other cats on the line. They drafted some DBs. They drafted DBs. They're signing a lot of people. Their whole line, they made trades last year with the tight ends and the whole line, getting the line to where it needs to be. This is the time now. This was supposed to be the year that the Cleveland Browns took the next step, and they went to, hopefully at the very least, an AFC Championship game. And I'm not putting that all on Baker. I'm not saying it's all the way. It's injury. I'm not putting that all on Baker. But my question to Mary, she's our guest. Mary, so that being said that the team has pulled out all the stops. You guys have done. You've signed these players for the line. Tack McKinley, Davion Clowney. You signed the defensive backs, Troy Hill.
Drafted well.
You drafted even more DBs back there. You drafted the linebacker.
Kamara.
OKC. I can't remember exactly the initials. This was supposed to be the season that the Browns took the next step, was it not? So where do they go from here?
Well, it's a great point. Guess how many touchdown passes Baker Mayfield has this season so far?
How many?
6.
Ooh.
6.
6 touchdown passes.
6?
Ooh, my boy Jameis got more than that.
It's
more than that one game.
I think he got more than that.
Against the Packers.
6 touchdown passes so far this season.
Respectfully, I mean, it wasn't a touchdown pass that Jarvis Landry dropped. It was a 4th down. They were still like right inside the 20. So it wasn't a touchdown pass. They were down by 5, so they still need to score a touchdown. But this is my question to you. Hypothetically, if everyone is still healthy this year, right? What do because it doesn't look like, and you never know, but right now they're in last place in their division. They have to jump a lot of teams to get it. So what do you think the Browns need to do this offseason to get to the next step? Because I thought they did that last season and the season before that. So they have everything, but what do you think they need to do to get to the next step?
They might get there this year.
Yeah.
They're not getting there this year.
They might.
We at the mid-season mark. We at the mid-season. It ain't how you start, it's how you finish. And the Browns need to do one thing.
Yeah, Morris,
just
you
keep
already
playing.
rolling it over to
they
next
need to keep
season.
playing, and they need to keep playing together. You can't just assemble all these pieces and think because the cake look good, it tastes good. I'm telling you, it needs to marinate. You know, so that's what's wrong with y'all today.
Wait.
You're a part of the oven society.
Morris, hold
on. You should be patient. Now you want that microwave society. You want it now. It don't taste good.
Let me ask Brian. Brian, yes. As a former player, do you feel like Baker Mayfield and OBJ can coexist now that this video has come out where his father has, highlighted how he's not getting the ball to him and all this other stuff? What do you think?
This is I was also going to ask Mary Kay this. Why is this such a big deal? The media is pushing this, correct? I from what I've heard from all this, Baker and Odell publicly are getting along fine from what I understand, except Odell's not getting a lot of balls thrown his way. But like they're not disputing and they're not spatting with each other, other than the media pushing it, and then now Odell's dad puts this out. But other than that, why do they have to sit in the room and talk it out? There's probably nothing there. I'm assuming the media is pushing this and making it a bigger deal than it needs to be.
Well, first of all, those guys actually do get along as people, as friends, as guys, as players. They get along like that. It's really just the on-field stuff that doesn't work all that well. And you're right. It really wasn't a huge issue until this past game. I think that his inner circle kind of snapped. I think that he was done. I think that was sort of the last straw for him. 1 target, 6. Sometimes these things have a way of taking on a life of their own. And that 1 target for 6 yards in a loss to the Steelers, something just didn't go well for everybody involved in Odell's camp. I think that was like, okay, we're done.
But publicly, neither one of them said anything. Publicly, neither one of those guys said anything.
No.
They said no.
So, Josina, yes, I think they can coexist. They're both professionals. They've showed that. After the game, I like what Baker said about taking ownership for what happened. That he has to play better. Jarvis did the same thing. I like that. And Odell's a professional as well. I think if he's going to be there and they're going to win, they're going to have to coexist.
I'm sorry. Hold on. B, I'm sorry. Hold on.
Here we go. All right, Mo.
Here we go.
Last comment. Go ahead.
Okay, and then I have a question for Mary. But
another question. You got
I do.
You act like that's your question.
You guys can't let Mary.
Sorry,
answer
Mary.
the question.
Sorry. We didn't know you were going to stay here to midnight with Morris's questions.
I'm trying to ask Mary questions, but y'all keep jumping in.
Question.
Last
Let me
one.
say
Go
this.
ahead.
Well, let me just make a statement. Right. They have not coexisted. The numbers, all I'm talking about are the numbers. The numbers are better without with Odell not in the game with Baker. They are not coexisting right now. Yeah. So they're not going to coexist in the future. They were playing together last season. It's just not going to happen. But my question to Mary, Fred, this is to Mary. Hypothetically, Mary. Hypothetically.
Off-season moves again.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Hypothetically, if the Browns don't make the playoffs, what do you think that they need to do to make it to the next level?
Well, first of all, if they decide that they are going to stick with Baker, and they picked up his 5th-year option for 2022, but I also wanted to ask Fred after this. I have a question for you, Fred. I mean, I know what you're saying. I mean, like, who's the next cute girl that's coming along if Baker's not the one? But they are at a extension crossroads with him right now. I mean, this is the point where they have to decide, is he there? And we know the going rate for first-round quarterbacks these days is in the $40 million range now. So, do you pay him that, or do you just kind of spin it forward a little bit, get through that option year, and then figure it out from there? But what I would do in the offseason, if they are still committed to Baker Mayfield, I think that they need I think they need a Jamar Chase. I think they need a Justin Jefferson. I think they need some young receivers. I think that they need some guys that can connect. You have to score the football to win football games. You have to score points. I mean, that's why Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, that's why the Bengals are doing well in part this year, is because of the connection between those two. You need that, and they don't have that right now. I mean, the receivers have a total of 3 touchdown catches this year for the Cleveland Browns. None for Odell and none for Jarvis. I mean, it's mind-boggling, but the passing game is broken, and it needs to be fixed.
I will say this, Mary, though, because you mentioned that you feel like the two of them need to get together. I'm not going to put a whole bunch of details into the conversation, but I will say this. I do feel like there are some things along the timeline of the rapport that have helped to kind of get it askew. I know that, there's some feelings like there are conversations that have had that already have happened that have not necessarily, improved things. But I would say this, I do think it's worth, revisiting that again, especially now that the deadline is passed and you are kind of where you are, and seeing if, you have that raw conversation that can try to get over that tension. I'll just say that.
I am disappointed in Mary and Josina, the women of this show. You know what? We've all seen people in relationships where the dude messed up. He done cheated. He did something. And the woman is doing everything she can to hold their relationship together. And we see that couple out. And guess what? They put on the best front in the world around us. All right? They make sure we don't know it's drama in their house. In some way or another, they patch it up. There's nothing wrong with arguing with somebody. That's what make a relationship. So I think this. OBJ wants to make some plays, to make some stats, so when he do get out of here, he can go to the place he wants to go. Baker wants to throw touchdowns because he wants the big contract. All I'm saying is this, like Jerry Jones say, every great investment he overpaid for. Like sometimes you overpay for great investments, and I'm telling you, if y'all break up with Baker, Mary, it's going to be another long night. It's going to be another long night in Cleveland. 20 years.
Fred, if they break up with Baker, it's going to be another long night because they already had long nights. What are you talking about?
Do you not remember Do you not remember pre-Baker? Do you not remember pre-Baker Browns football?
No. I remember pre-Stefanski Browns football, because Browns didn't make the playoffs until Stefanski got
there. But they did win a game. He did start winning games.
Baker had been there 2 years before Stefanski even got there. Okay.
Well, maybe.
Was he a rookie?
What, Brian?
Was he a rookie when Stefanski wasn't there?
Yeah, he was a rookie.
He's a rookie quarterback.
What about last year?
He had the coach that won the coach. He had Freddie Kitchens.
So let me say this. So there are 2 quarterbacks in Baker's draft who have been to the Pro Bowl.
Hey, Morris, I get it. You don't like Baker. We get it, man. All right. We got it, man.
Mary,
let's go
Mary, do you have a question for Fred?
Listen, Mary, maybe Andrew Mary should put the 2 of them in a room, lock the door, and just walk out and see what happens. Because right now they're coexisting with each other, and I would say I'm not quite so sure that that certain things are over. So maybe that's what just has to happen. Okay. Anybody else got something? DA, you got something?
Mary
had a question for Fred.
You got a question?
Go ahead. For Fred was, I kind of asked it already, was would you pay Baker Mayfield the big bucks right now. I mean, you would go ahead and pay him the $40 million.
Yes. You know what? I wouldn't pay him max money. We would go and negotiate. I would put him somewhere in the 30, 33, 35, but I can't shortchange him because he knows his market. All right. And at the end of the day, if you're the Cleveland Browns, you cannot go backwards. You can't go backwards because guess what? If y'all sign a quarterback in this quarterback dry draft we got coming up, that's another 2-year reset. All right, that's another 2-year reset. And now you're farther than you are. I'm sorry, y'all went to a garage sale and got clowny, got you a couple more pieces, and they don't work. Guess what? New Edition kicked Bobby Brown out the group for a reason. And now y'all kicking Odell out. I understand.
Morris, and the thing about it is you don't have a replacement. Who's your replacement? You were already trying to look for a replacement in Philadelphia. You don't have one. Who's your replacement with the Browns?
Listen,
Case Keenum.
This is the thing, though. You can't. Listen.
So you can't be playing Case
Morris
Keenum
right now. Anybody but Baker. I'm Morris.
No. I'm not. Listen, I'm not saying that because let me be clear. Yes. I'm honest about the fact about every quarterback. I'm not sure about my quarterback, Jalen Hurts.
How could you not be?
Who's the replacement, Morris? Who's the replacement?
How could you not be? Give me Jalen Hurts. Give us Washington. Send him to Washington.
Right?
All I'm saying is, who is ever the replacement? When you have a team that is going all in, you have to figure it out. And people talked about, well, Dallas should have paid Dak. They should have paid Dak. Why did they wait to the last minute? Dak held him over a barrel. They had to pay Dak. They should have paid Dak a long time ago.
Well, it wasn't enough. He wanted the money.
Yeah, okay. No, you think that's smart. You think that's smart.
Dak was smart because he waited.
And he did get his bag. Tom Brady did get his bag.
Exactly. That's
the man.
He is, but that's exactly my point. That's Mary's point. Where are you right now with Cleveland? Fred, you said that Baker knows his market. So he's just going to take $30 million? When he
is. Yes, he is. Because because guess what? Because he know he was hurt. He know he ain't put up great numbers. And that shows that they still believe in him. And he is their future. If you don't, some people, you're not paying him for now, Morris. You're paying him for the future.
So he's going to take a discount. Huh? His agent's just going to take a discount.
That ain't really a discount from 35 to 40. That's, that's a goodwill. That's saying, thank you for believing in me.
Yeah.
I know I haven't gave you my best yet, but my best is yet to come. You remember the deal that Drew Brees took when he went from San Diego to New Orleans? It's going to be similar to that.
Drew Brees was coming off a bum shoulder. What are you talking about?
And so is Baker. Baker got a bum shoulder too.
Baker is with the team that drafted him.
Yeah, they still got to pay him. But you got to realize, everything is a negotiation. Everything's negotiation. And that's what it is. Wow. Baker don't want to leave Cleveland because he know that's the best place for him to be. So they got some over him. He got some over them because who are you going to find better than me? All right, so at the end of the day, they're going to meet halfway at the table. Don't he practically live in the stadium, Mary? Don't he live there? He lives in the stadium.
He definitely does.
Well, Mary, don't you think it's going to be a blame game every game now? As far as everyone's going to be putting these games under a microscope every time, and the drama is going to keep raising and raising. And like you mentioned at the beginning of this show, Odell has definitely been mindful. I think the Browns have definitely been mindful. Everybody's trying to, keep it under, a certain level of tension. But even after this happened now with the video and all this other stuff, he didn't get out of there, and you mentioned, and Brian, you said, well, how come he's not the primary option? Well, I can tell you there are a lot of times where he has been I shouldn't say a lot of times. There's been a number of times where he has been the option and the ball has not come to him. I think that's what that video is showing, especially if you know what the play call is. But I'm just saying, under a microscope, this is what everybody's going to be talking about from here until the regular season is over. And I don't know.
They're going to get it fixed.
You know what? Having said all of that, let me just say really quickly,
yes,
the Browns are going into Cincinnati on Sunday to play a very, very big football game against an AFC North rival. And if they pull this out and win this game, then it's an entirely different conversation that we're having about the Cleveland Browns.
However,
they will be 5-4. Right. However, I mean, if it goes the other way, the sky will be falling.
There you go.
But they can change the narrative if they can go in there and win this game. Maybe Baker and Odell will get it together and he'll catch 100 yards, 200 2 touchdown
Some
passes.
touchdowns will be happy.
There we go. Be optimistic.
Yeah, I like that, Mary. Yeah, I like
There we
that.
go,
Well,
Mary.
listen, Mary. We appreciate you coming into the crew huddle. I know Morris kept you for 500 questions. Fred Smoot thought that the females wanted to have the kumbaya conversation. We did our best. We hopefully we invited you well to the table. We appreciate you, Mary.
Thank you, Mary. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Mary.
Thanks for having me. I'll come back anytime.
All
right, guys. I appreciate it. Let's move on.
You need your own show, dude.
No, Morris needs to be a beat writer in the locker room because he
will be good. He will be.
Morris is an Eagle fan. He has so many questions for the Browns team.
No,
I just don't get it, Morris.
Listen.
Oh my God!
I'm looking at the facts.
Let's start him again. Go ahead.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Mary, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Matt, go to CREW Chat. As I told you, Matt, let's re-roll some of these comments that people had when LeBron James put out the tweet "Free OBJ," which Brian Urlacher got a problem with. So let's see some of these comments, Matt. What do we got? Okay, so can we see it one by one or no? No. All right, here we go. So somebody said LeBron trying to trade people in a different sport. Okay, let's see the next one. All right. This was somebody's face looking at King James trying to get his own player out of Cleveland. All right, keep it going, Matt. Keep it going. All right, so somebody said only 2 games with 100+ yards as a member of the Cleveland Browns. So they calling out OBJ's production. I don't know about that. There are games where he would have been over 100 if the ball would have come to him. Matt, keep it going.
I would have too if the ball would have came to me when I played too. If I would have had more interceptions, I'd have had more interceptions.
That
don't make any sense, Josina.
Yep. If was a fifth, we all be drunk.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, how does it not make any sense?
If anyone can say, if I'd have got the ball thrown to me more times, I'd have had more yards. Yeah, no shit.
Well,
that's just the way. It doesn't work that way.
This man
doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I've heard a certain plays behind the scenes. Hey, look, that was a Jets fan maybe saying it should come here. Belichick didn't come to the Patriots. DA, you got a problem? Still not what you're saying. What?
Let me tell you something. Hey, I worked for LeBron James's production company. He produced NBA 2K20, so I ain't gonna say nothing. You heard me?
Oh, okay.
He did Space Jam. You never know.
Lead the king out of this. All right?
I'm gonna leave him out of this. I know him. He a cool dude. I work with him. He paid me. Hey, we good.
All right. Well, let's move this thing on the crew carpet, Matt. Let's go. All right, I got to keep y'all rolling because y'all were keeping Mary Kay forever. It's the time of the show where we look back at some of the outfits from when the guys were going to the game. You know, it was Halloween. So, Matt, what we got up here? Let me see. Oh, this is Myles Garrett as the Grim Reaper.
Fire.
I thought he was a roach leg at first until I seen the mask.
You know what, Josina?
What?
I'm gonna keep my comments to myself because you threw me under the bus the other day. So
be careful. Yeah.
Guess what? Everything that rolled up over here, I'm gonna be like, that's great. That's amazing. I would wear that.
The problem is that they lost against the Steelers, and Ben Roethlisberger said he could keep his tombstone to himself, so it didn't necessarily work out with the result.
Yeah, wow, yeah.
They're backing up.
Hey, you can't hate on Ben, man. Being one of the few ugly quarterbacks to ever be great in the NFL.
Oh my gosh, Matt, move to the next one. I didn't say that, Ben Roethlisberger. Okay, so this is OBJ showing up to the game as Michael Jackson Thriller with the wig, with the Deric Augustine.
He did the Josina dance. Rewind that again.
I saw a little clip.
Hey, y'all gonna leave Josina alone, man.
That's what
I mean, thank you, DA. Look, can y'all talk about outfit? Can y'all talk
you know
about
what,
Josina?
Josina, he from New Orleans, so I'm gonna say, hey, he good in my books.
Thank you.
He did do the Josina. Look at
that.
Stroke.
Ryan, do you like this outfit?
I like MJ. So, yeah, I'm a big Michael Jackson fan. So heck yeah, he looks good.
Okay, all right, there you go with the Soul Glow Jerry curl. Let's move to the next one. What we got? Okay, so this is David Bakhtiari of the Packers with his girlfriend. What is this? Tommy Chong?
Cheech and Chong. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Y'all like this? He's doing it with his girlfriend and going all in on the outfit.
Hey, he got him a sister. He got him a sister. I like
that. Yes, he does. And this is a member of the Tennessee Titans with this orange outfit. Unfortunately, I do not know his name.
It looks like he's in one of those bands.
Chamacho
Mariachi
band.
band?
Yeah,
The
yeah, I don't know
what'd you
what
say?
that
Mariachi band.
Mariachi, yeah.
Yeah, don't name him after the boxer. Okay, and how about y'all like this outfit? Von Miller to the Rams with the new number.
Hey,
What's up?
let me tell you something.
They building a super team, man.
That's the thriller right there. Everybody gonna be scared of that line. That's the thriller.
The Rams are all in. And let me tell you something. If you ain't never seen a thief in the NFL, Kirk tell him put the money in the bag. Kirk ain't won nothing. Listen.
Good for him.
Hey, listen, I love it. I love it.
Makes too much damn money anyway. Pay the players. Pay them all.
Pay the players. But I tell you what, most people be going off that Kirk Kane if they think he can play the quarterback position. They are wrong.
Kirk Kane. All right. Well, with that note, whoa. Can I get some predictions?
Ahead,
who is winning the game?
Sure.
So go ahead, Deric. Who is winning the game? Jets or Colts?
I'm gonna go with. Man, I'm a big fan of underdogs. I'm gonna go with the Jets. I'm not gonna lie. I want to see what this Devin White kid
You
can
do
do.
like underdogs. You are saying
Devin White. Mike White.
I'm sorry, Mike White. I'm gonna see what Mike White can do.
He went from middle linebacker to quarterback.
Sorry, Mike. Like you got to come on the show to formally apologize. Jesus Christ. But Fred, who's winning the game?
You know what? Since I'm a betting man and I'm gonna use common sense, I'm gonna go with the coach. I'm gonna go with the better roster and the better coach. How about that?
Okay. All right,
I'm
Brian.
gonna jump out with Smoot.
Oh, you going with the Colts?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, home team.
Okay, and Morris?
What's the number on that game?
Don't matter. It don't matter.
Let me tell you something.
It's the Jets.
Let me tell you something. Speaking as somebody who lost money on Cincinnati this last weekend with Mike White and the New York Jets, I'm going to take the Colts. You got to take the Colts. I don't think this game is going to be close. We're really going to see look, Mike White, when he came in the 2 games before, he played well in the second half. We're going to see if he does it again. But Carson Wentz, he has some inexplicable plays last week. I think they'll bounce back and they'll win this game with the Colts.
All right, y'all. Well, this is officially our longest show since we've been going on. So I appreciate you, Matt, and apologize to your wife that we had you on forever. Well, Morris's 900 questions to MKC. But for Morris Chestnut, Brian Urlacher, Fred Smoot, Deric Augustine, this has been everybody from the crew.
Shout out to New Orleans.